Finally, it is possible for us not only to hear about Zen, but also to see it. Since one showing is worth 100 sayings, the expression of Zen in the arts gives us one of the most direct ways of understanding it. This is the more so because the art forms which Zen has created are not symbolic in the same way as other types of Buddhist art, or as is religious art as a whole. The favorite subjects of Zen artists, whether painters or poets, are what we should call natural, concrete, and secular things. Even when they turn to the Buddha or to the patriarchs and masters of Zen, they depict them in a peculiarly down-to-earth and human way. Furthermore, the arts of Zen are not merely or primarily representational. Even in painting, the work of art is considered not only as representing nature, but as being itself a work of nature. For the very technique involves the art of artlessness, or what Saburo Hasegawa has called the controlled accident, so that paintings are formed as naturally as the rocks and grasses which they depict. This does not mean that the art forms of Zen are left to mere chance, as if one were to dip a snake in ink and let it wiggle around on a sheet of paper. The point is rather that for Zen there is no duality, no conflict between the natural element of chance and the human element of control. The constructive powers of the human mind are no more artificial than the formative actions of plants or bees, so that from the standpoint of Zen, it is no contradiction to say that artistic technique is discipline in spontaneity, and spontaneity in discipline. The art forms of the Western world arise from spiritual and philosophical traditions, in which spirit is divided from nature, and comes down from heaven to work upon it as an intelligent energy upon an inert and recalcitrant stuff. Thus, Melrose speaks always of the artist conquering his medium, as our explorers and scientists also speak of conquering mountains or conquering space. To Chinese and Japanese ears, these are grotesque expressions. For when you climb, it is the mountain as much as your own legs which lifts you upwards, and when you paint, it is the brush, ink and paper which determine the result as much as your own hand. Taoism, Confucianism and Zen are expressions of a mentality which feels completely at home in this universe, and which sees man as an integral part of his environment. Human intelligence is not an imprisoned spirit from afar, but an aspect of the whole intricately balanced organism of the natural world, whose principles were first explored in the Book of Changes. Heaven and earth are alike members of this organism, and nature is as much our father as our mother, since the Tao by which it works is originally manifested in the yang and the yin, the male and female, positive and negative principles, which in dynamic balance maintain the order of the world. The insight which lies at the root of Far Eastern culture is that opposites are relational and so fundamentally harmonious.